economic assumptions. So, when for economists, what they do is they try to find a way of solving problems. They try to make economic decisions. So if these decisions have to be made, we have to make it on assumption. So when we talk about assumption, we're talking about how rational you are or how irrational you are. And to talk about rationality, basically we're talking about satisfaction. So you're going to make a decision, but in as much as the decision you make satisfies you, you have utility from your decision, then it is rational. But if at the end of it all, your decision becomes dissatisfactory, then that makes you an irrational consumer. Do you get it? There's rationality, which means your decision will bring about satisfaction. And there's irrationality, which means your decision will bring about dissatisfaction. Clear?
Yes.
Good, we'll move on. So here we're going to talk about, go to the first question, the first one, consumer aim to maximize benefit. Are you there? So for consumers, they make decisions, yes or no? But if we talk about consumers, basically we're talking about the price of the product. They make decisions about price and they make decisions about quality. So let's read anyway. When making economic decisions, economists assume that consumers will always choose a course of action that gives them the greatest satisfaction. This will help them to maximize benefits. In getting started above, Anita chooses to spend 5,000 on the most preferred item in her list, which is a scale of preference. That is the meal out with her friend. This is a rational decision. Economists assume that the consumers will always do this. Two examples of consumers' rationality are outlined below. So there's an individual here, Anita, who has made a decision about spending some time with friends. In as much as she's happy regarding that decision, it is rational. So for economists, they assume that consumers will always make decisions based on two things. The first one, if a consumer is faced with buying, are you there? Are you sure you're with me?
Yeah.
Okay. If the consumer is faced with buying exactly the same product from 3 different suppliers, the consumer will always buy from the supplier that offers the cheapest price. To pay more for a product than it is necessary is irrational. So if the consumer is faced with choosing from 3 suppliers or producers of a product, then the consumer will choose the one that is more affordable, the cheaper one. Based on the law of demand, the higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded. The lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded. So consumers are always conscious about price. As a result, we have to choose the one that the price is so cheap. If you don't choose it when you have it as an option, you become irrational. You become an irrational consumer. That is first. The second one, if a consumer is faced with buying a product from 3 different suppliers at the same price, the consumer will buy the best quality product. To buy a product of lower quality would be irrational. So the second point is, if you are faced with buying from firm A, firm B, and C, they are of the same price. The next thing you have to check is about the quality. So if you have a better quality and you didn't choose that, it becomes irrational. That means you have taken an irrational decision. Do you get it? So for consumers, economists assume that consumers they will make decisions about price and quality. Is it clear?
Yes.
Any question about consumers there? Then we'll move on. Businesses. For businesses, they have to make decisions too. When business owners make decisions, they will always choose a course of action that has the best financial results. So this is because economists assume that business owners will want to make as much profit as possible. That's what we call profit maximization. Owners are assumed to be rational when making financial decisions about their businesses. 2 examples are outlined below. So let's see the assumptions about businesses. 1, if a business owner can buy some raw materials from 3 different suppliers, the owner will always buy the cheapest available as long as the quality is the same. To pay more for raw materials than is necessary would be irrational. So if producers are faced with choosing from 3 different suppliers, they will choose, and if it's the same price, they will choose the cheapest. No, they said always buy the cheapest available. So they will choose the cheapest if they have the same quality. That's the point there. You get it? Then the second one is, when setting the price for a product, a business owner will always choose the highest price that market can stand. So for producers, they choose the cheapest product. They choose the cheapest price in as much as the quality is the same. Do you get it? Then they have to sell the product, yes or no?
Yes.
They choose the highest price that the market can withstand. So that means they will sell at the market price. Selling below the market price is an irrational decision. In as much as consumers can pay, why can't you sell? Do you understand? So for producers, they choose the cheapest raw materials in as much as it has the same quality as those of competitors, and they choose the highest price in as much as the market can pay. Is everything clear about producers now?
Yes.
So the rationality of consumers is choosing the cheapest price, buying the best quality. The rationality of producers is choosing the cheapest price in terms of raw materials and selling at the highest price that the market can pay or afford. Is it clear?
Yes.
So we'll move on. Now, what are the reasons why consumers may not always maximize their benefit? Look at that point. Consumers want to maximize benefit, yes or no? But most of the time, they might not be able to maximize it. Why? Let's say. In some circumstances, a consumer may fail to maximize their benefit when making a choice. There are three possible reasons that help to explain this. So what are the reasons why we won't, as consumers, we won't be able to maximize our benefits? One, it is possible that some consumers have difficulty in calculating the benefit from consuming a product. So if it's difficult for us to quantify the benefits, happiness is not quantifiable. You cannot measure happiness. It's a state. It's a state in the mindset, which it cannot be measurable. So because we cannot measure how happy we are, then it becomes difficult to maximize our satisfaction or benefit from it. Oh, he is happy, she is happy. Well, how happier is he or she is? It's not, we can't quantify it. So that might make us not to be able to maximize our benefit. Do you get the first point?
Yes.
The second point, some consumers develop buying habits that may affect their ability to make rational choices. So I'm not going to read all, I'm just going to explain it immediately. It becomes an habitual behavior. We get used to buying, even if we don't need them, we buy them. Maybe because a friend buys, or maybe because everyone buys. So we don't even care about the quality anymore. We don't care about the price. We just want to buy. Or in as much as it's Apple, we buy.
Yeah.
So you don't even want to care if it is important for you to buy or not important for you to buy. So that means we develop an habit of buying, even if we don't need. That will not give us satisfaction. We become irrational because we're just taking decisions based on emotion, because we are probably emotionally attached to that product. Do you get the second point?
Yes.
And the last point. Another reason why some consumers do not maximize their benefits is because they are influenced on the behavior of others. Oh, my friend buys, I'm going to buy. Did you get it? My friend is buying. I'm buying because my friend is buying. Oh, you are supposed to buy if you need, not because your friend is buying. Yes.
Like recent trends were.
Trends. So yeah, because everybody is using the iPhone 15. You've got 14 and you just bought it 2 days ago. Then iPhone 15 came out and your friends are buying iPhone 15. Because they're buying, then you have to buy. So that is following the trend. And it won't make you to maximize your benefits. It is irrational. Is it clear? So these are 3 reasons why consumers might not maximize their benefits. Any question from me? The first one, because they cannot quantify their satisfaction. So they wouldn't know how happy they are. They cannot measure. It's not like, oh, I want 5 products, I have 5 products. Oh, the result is 100. Yeah, it is 100. I was able to get 100. Oh, the result was 80. Oh, it's not satisfactory. I'm supposed to get 100 on 100.
Yeah.
I can't quantify that. Yeah. But for happiness, it is not something that you can, it's a state of emotion. So it cannot be quantifiable. Okay, yes. That's the first point. The second point is taking decision based on the fact that you are emotionally attached to something. You take a rational decision. Because you are taking decision based on from your head. You're just doing what you feel like makes you happy, but you're not rationalizing things. And the last one is you are doing it based on trend. Is it clear?
Yes.
We'll move on. So for the producers, what would make them not to maximize their profit? The first one. The performance of some businesses may be influenced by the behavior of other people in the organization. In some businesses, not all decisions are made directly by the owners. So owners sometimes delegate decision making to others who may have different objectives to those of the owners. There's delegation. That's one of the problems, or that's one of the reasons why producers might not maximize their profit. When we talk about delegation means you are giving authority to someone to act on your behalf. So if that individual is acting on your behalf, he's going to take decision based on his own interest or her own interest. Yes or no? Yeah. So the individual that you've given that authority to act on your behalf might be taking decision that does not suit your interest. Yes. As a result of that, you won't be able to maximize profits. you are the owner of the business, you want to maximize profit. You want to make profit as much as possible. But you've given your manager the decision to take. You've given your manager the authority to take the decision. Your manager might think about making more customers. Making more customers is not going to equivalent to making profit. Your manager might take that decision by reducing the price of the product so that more customers come in. So does it suit the interest? Does it fit into the interest of the owner? No. Do you get it?
Repeat it again.
Yeah, sure. The owner of the business wants to maximize profit. Yes or no? Good. To maximize profit, you have to sell at the highest possible price. Good. But the manager that is going to take decision, you have given the authority to take decision, might want to increase revenue because it's maybe its performance is linked to revenue. So to increase revenue, you need to reduce the price. Yes or no? So when you reduce the price, sales will increase, but it does not make profits to increase. So you see, the interest of the manager is different from the interest of the owner. Conflict of interest.
Yes.
So the owner will not be able to maximize benefits, which is profit maximization.
Yes.
Do you get it now?
Yes.
That's the first point. And the second one, some producers have alternative businesses objectives, although profit may be important to them. Other issues may also be important. Consequently, by focusing on other objectives, it may not be possible for the producer to maximize profit. So you might have other objectives like expansion, like expansion, what else can be your objective? Expansion, relocation. You could have different objectives as an owner, but because you are focused on such objective, you might not be able to focus on profit maximization. So you won't be able to maximize your profit as a result. Do you get the second point? The owner has other objectives, and you can't put all these things together.
It's almost as if it's neglecting it.
Yes, the focus has been shifted.
Yes.
And you've shifted your focus, and you still want to aim it. No, you can't eat your cake and have it.
Yeah.
Clear?
Yes.
The third one, also an increasing minority of businesses are being set up. No, some commercial enterprise. That's the third one. Some commercial enterprises operate as charities. If you're operating as a charity, you are not for profit making. Yes or no? So profit maximization should be out of it. Clear?
Yes, it should be even in the plan.
Yeah. And the last one. Also, an increasing minority of businesses are being set up as social enterprises. When we talk about social enterprise, we're talking about enterprises that care about the society. So if it's about the society, then you should find a way of selling to the people at a cheaper price, affordable prices. Make life becomes easier for them.
Yeah.
And if you are trying to do this, trust me, you won't be making profits.
Yeah.
So these are the reasons why producers might not be able to make profits, maximize their profits.
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Finally, consumers will be prevented from maximizing their benefits and producers from maximizing their profits if they do not have access to all information available. So at the end of it all, the main reason why we cannot maximize our welfare or benefit is that there's information gap. So when we lack information, whenever there is information gap, it means I might be taking decisions, I might be underestimating the benefit of a product. As a result, I don't buy that product. Yeah. Whereas I am supposed to buy it, but because I lack information about the benefit of it, I buy less. Yeah. I might be overestimating the benefit of a product, so I buy more, whereas I'm not supposed to buy more. And for producers, they might be overestimating the benefit of raw material or the benefit of selling at a lower price. Yeah. They underestimate. So we will either underestimate or overestimate because we lack information. Now, when there's information gap, we call it asymmetric information. Is it clear? Asymmetric information. Is it clear? Yes. So we'll go to the multiple choice question. Great. For multiple choice question, it said, which of the following would help consumers and producers to maximize their benefit and profits, respectively? Both producers and consumers to maximize their benefit, respectively.
Access to more information.
Access to more information.
Is it correct?
Thank you. That's the answer.
Okay.
Question 2. Which of the following is a reason why consumers may not maximize their benefits?
C, right?
Some consumers may develop buying habits that are hard to give up. Yes, habitual. Yeah. So that ends chapter 2.
Okay. I calculate.
Yeah. So go to chapter 3, the demand curve. Effective demand, are you there?
Yeah.
So when we talk about demand is the quantity of goods or services consumers are willing to buy at a given price and time. So we will not just talk about demand. We want to talk about effective demand because that is what the economists want to talk about. So it is effective if you have the willingness, the ability, and you are buying. You bought it.
Yeah.
You have to buy. If you don't buy it, it's not effective. It's an ineffective demand. So that is about effective demand. The consumer has the willingness, the ability to buy, and he or she buys. Clear?
Yeah.
We move on. The demand curve. For the demand curve, it's a graph. I'm giving you the meaning of the demand curve here. It's a graph that shows the relationship, the inverse relationship between the quantity demanded of a product and the price of the product. Clear?
Yes.
We have the demand schedule. Demand schedule is a table that shows the relationship between the quantity demanded and the price of a product. Clear?
Yes.
We move on. So there's a graph here. I'm just going to go down the graph. So for demand curve is always there's always an inverse relationship between in demand. Why? Because the higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded. The lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded, which means there's an inverse relationship. Do you get it?
It's an issue with my mom's.
So there's always an inverse for figure 3.1. There's an inverse relationship. So look at it. When the price falls from A to B, from 1 to 0.75, the quantity demanded increases from 40 to 60 to 65 or to around 70. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So a fall in price will bring about an increase in the quantity demanded. That is an opposite relationship. Do you get it? So price goes down, quantity increases. That's inverse relationship. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So that is about the law of demand. The higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded. The lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded. It's clear, right?
Yes.
So we go to movement along the demand curve. Movement along the demand curve is as a result of a change in the price of a product. So there's always movement that's either contracting or expanding. So it is contracting if the price of the product continues to rise, and it will expand if the price of the product falls. Clear?
Yes.
So we'll move on. There's a case study which we don't need now. So we'll go to straight line demand curve. So what they meant is that demand curve can be like this and can be straight line. It's a straight line. It's always downward slope. That is the point. So whenever we are talking about demand, the relationship is always downward. That's why it's a straight line. I think it's clear.
Yeah.
So that's the straight line there, which is just as easy as anything.
Yeah.
So we go to shift in demand curve. For shift in the demand curve, it's based on non-price factor. That means there's a change in the price of there's a change in the price of non-price factors. That means I will call them non-pricing factors. So for non-pricing factors, these are other things that have changed while price does not change. I'm going to say that again. For price, when we talk about movement along the demand curve, all things being equal, ceteris paribus, other factors remain constant. If price has to change, other factors remain constant. If other factors have to change, price needs to remain constant, all things being equal. Is it clear?
Yes.
So for a shift in demand curve, shift will be as a result of changes in other factors that does not contain or affect price. It's shift to the right or to the left.
Yeah.
Movement is contracting and expanding. You get the difference here?
Yeah.
Great. So here they say if the price of a good changes, there's a movement along the demand curve. A change in any other factor, such as income. Now, let's talk about income. Income is the amount of money an individual earns over a period of time. If income level changes, take care. If income level changes, either increasing or decreasing, there will be a change in the demand for goods and services. So when it is income, we won't just talk about income and goods. We need to talk about inferior goods or normal goods. Do you get it? So for inferior goods, when income level increases, the inferior goods tends to fall because nobody wants to buy them. I have much money now, so I could get goods that are worthy. So I don't want, but those goods that you think about when you don't have money with you are inferior goods.
Mm.
Do you understand the difference between inferior goods and normal goods?
Mm.
So if the income level increases, if your level of income rises,
Mhm.
the demand for normal goods will increase, shifting the demand curve rightward from D1 to D2.
Yeah.
And the quantity demanded would also extend from Q1 to Q2 because your level of income has increased and it is for normal goods.
Yeah.
At the same time, there will be a leftward shift in the quantity demanded of inferior goods from D1 to D3, while the quantity would contract from Q1 to Q3 for inferior goods. Do you understand the situation about income now?
Yeah.
If income level increases, demand for normal goods will increase, shifting the demand curve rightward. If income level increases, the demand for inferior goods will fall, shifting the demand curve leftward. Clear?
Yes.
We have questions, MCQ questions, MCQs here.
Mhm.
The first one, which of the following statement is true about a demand curve? When the price falls, the quantity demanded falls, there's a proportionate relation between
C.
it slopes
Left
up
right.
from
Left to right.
no.
No. Is it D?
Yeah, it said slope up from left to right.
Oh,
No.
right.
From left to right.
It's from, yeah, to the right or right.
When there's a price change, there's a movement along the demand curve.
Oh, so it's D.
It's D, yes.
Oh,
Question 2. Did you choose C before?
yeah, it was C before.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was C, but I don't think so.
Did you get the answer now or not?
Yeah.
It said, which of the following is true about the demand curve?
Which of the following will cause the demand curve to shift to the left?
Now, yeah, it said, which of the following will cause the demand curve to shift to the left? Yes.
A fall in income.
To shift to the left, yeah. A fall in income, for example. Yes. So the answer is D. Clear?
Yeah.
So that's all about that. So go to chapter 4.
Mhm.
Factors that may shift the demand curve. Okay. So go to factors that may shift the demand curve. Price is the main factor that affects the quantity demanded. However, there are many other factors and each of them may actually shift the demand curve. Advertising, demographic changes, income, price of complements, price of substitute, fashion, and taste. So we're going to start with advertisement. Business try to influence demand for their products through advertising and other forms of promotion. For example, okay, so I'm not the one who's going to read all these things. We don't need to read it. Let me just explain advertising. For advertising, it means you are creating awareness. And if your advertising is successful, then the demand for your goods will increase, shifting the demand curve rightward from D1 to D2. But if your advertisement is not successful, then the demand curve will not shift rightward. It will rather shift leftward from D1 to D3. Is advertisement clear?
Yes.
Income. We talked about income already, so it's still the same. So income, they said, disposable income rises. Demand for goods will also rise. For example, so for normal goods and inferior goods, that's what they are talking about here. So if income level increases, like we said earlier, if income level increases, that means your disposable income increases. And what's disposable income?
Disposable income.
You don't look that. Talk to me here. What do you think? What is disposable income?
Disposable income. It's the income you spend.
Either you spend or save.
Oh.
That-
Right.
Yeah. Either spend or save. That's your disposable income. So if your income increases, the amount available for you to save or spend will increase. That's the point there. So and if it increases, demand for normal goods might increase, shifting the demand for normal goods rightward. And if at that point in time, for inferior goods, the demand will shift leftward.
Yes.
Clear?
Yes.
Good. The third one, fashion and taste. They are trends. They are old things. Old fashions, it's old fashion. In as much as there's a latest, it becomes old fashion. So for old fashioned products, their demand will definitely fall as time goes on. Yes or no? Shifting the demand for old fashioned goods leftward. The new fashion, because it's the latest, the demand for it will increase, shifting it rightward. Clear?
Yes.
Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Kinds of substitutes. When we talk about substitutes, these are goods that can be used in place of another. That's what we call substitute. So if the price of your competitors if the price your competitors sell fall, and you are still selling at the same price, the demand for your product will shift leftward from D1 to D3. And for those of your competitors, it shifts rightward from D1 to D2. Do you get it?
Yes.
Price of substitute. Any question about that?
No.
Okay. Price of complement. When we talk about complement, we're talking about goods that have to be used together. So if the price of a laptop falls, the demand for laptop charger would increase, shifting it rightward from D1 to D2.
Yeah.
Is it clear?
Yes.
That's complement. Any question about that?
Yeah.
And if it rises, if the price of laptops rises, the demand for laptop chargers would reduce.
D1 to
D3, leftward shift. Clear?
Yes.
We go to demographic changes. When we talk about demographic changes, it links to population and the area, the society.
Yeah.
So we start with the first one, the age distribution. When we talk about age distribution, we're talking about the group, the age group within the society. So if, for example, the aging population increases, the demand for health care would increase, shifting the demand curve rightward for health care, rightward from D1 to D2. Clear?
Yes.
If it's about the middle age, demand for cars, demand for housing might increase, shifting it rightward.
Yes.
If it's for kids, like for teenagers or whatever it is, demand for education will decrease, shifting it rightward.
Yeah.
It depends. That is the age distribution. Clear?
Yes.
Now population changes. If population increases in an economy, demand for goods and services will increase, shifting it rightward. If population decreases in an economy, demand for goods and services will fall, shifting it leftward.
Yeah.
If immigration comes in, demand for goods and services will also what? Increase. Yes or no?
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yes.
The next one, the geographical distribution. So if some areas are developing and others are not developing, those areas that are becoming developed will have demand for goods and services to increase. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Shifting it rightward. That is for geographical distribution. And the last one is ethnic groups in the population structure. So I'm a Nigerian. If more Nigerians come into this country, demand for Nigerian food, Nigerian clothes will increase, shifting it rightward from D1 to D2. And if Nigerians are leaving, demand for their goods and services would fall, shifting it leftward from D1 to D3. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Any question about that? The multiple choice question. Cars and petrols are examples of which goods?
Capital goods.
Complementary goods.
Complementary, yes.
Are you there? A rise in the price of car insurance may have which effect? Car insurance.
Yeah. Shift of the demand curve for cars to the left. C. Okay.
Shifting the demand curve, what?
For cars to the left. C.
Demand curve. Shift the demand curve for cars to the left. Yes. Is it clear?
Yes.
So that ends the chapter, right?
Oh.
Chapter 4. We stop here. Now you have the exam practice questions. You have exam practice.